Hi folks, with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about a series of screaming headlines from Australia's biggest media outlet. So they're headline billing this. It's the biggest media outlet. It's got a huge reach. So what are they talking about? If it's getting headline billing, it must be pretty serious. And it's talking about the vicious, fucking evil men that oppress women. You know, violence against women is everywhere. I mean, it's worse than Hitler. Hitler is a choir boy compared to the patriarchal evil that's going on everywhere, in every home, and in every situation, in every gender interaction. I mean, whoa, holy fuck, that's serious. Well, there must be some substance to it. Wait, stop. What we're talking about is insane, angry lesbian propagandists that are being given headline billing with stories that are just total, absolute bullshit. But there's no challenging, there's no editorial quality here. There's no oversight, there's nothing. These people can tell their most horrible lies upon lies, and get, again, headline billing and feature positions in the news, you know, and the online and in print media as well. So let's have a look at this. What is this headline? 99% of all women are brutally raped and murdered every second of every day, and it's hysteria, and it's drama, and So let's have a little look. Now, the first claim is that more women are violently assaulted by men or males than the other way around. I mean, I would agree with that. I don't know what they're using there. I would think there'd be more violence, as in physical violence, one way or another, in one direction rather than the other. So okay, let's accept that. So having established that, then every story they're going to talk about here, a little anecdotal, is simply men oppressing women. Now, they're saying here that we interviewed, this is supposed to be some academic, and they just say it's, you know, Professor so-and-so of the prestigious university such and such. Now, that gives them, okay, well, all right, then she's an expert. I guess I should listen to this. What they don't say is she's actually an affirmative action appointment, and she's a radical, angry lesbian feminist that pours vitriolic hatred against straight men, particularly straight white men. They don't say that there's no qualifier there. But if if they just sort of balance the journalism or balance the stories out here by saying, well, Professor so-and-so that was gifted the professorship under an affirmative action program, who has a long tradition of hatred, vitriolic hatred against men, makes the following claims. Now, then you would see it very differently. Instead, they put her up as, this is the independent expert. This is someone that deals with facts, when it's nothing of the sort. So this is the person doing the work. So already we know that it's propaganda, and it's the ravings and rantings of an angry lesbian feminist. But they say they interviewed all these women, or a number of women, and so they're recounting the stories of how these women were evilly oppressed by men. And they're talking about controlling behavior, and how these women are having their lives controlled by, this is in straight relationships. Now, if you look at the most violent relationships that exist, certainly in Australia, it's by the Indigenous Black population. And then next is like the Islamic population, or the brown people, and so on. Then the next category relative to population size is the lesbians. And the last category, and the next category, when white men start to come in, it's white men who are mentally retarded and on drugs and this and that, living in government housing. And then the last category, the least category, is straight white men, particularly employed and professional. That's the lowest category of violence against women. And middle class women are they're more likely to choke on a sandwich or get hit by lightning than they are be assaulted. So they blend two factors into this one particular piece where it's violence, and then they look at controlling. Then they throw in, for good measure, controlling behaviour. I went out with the girls, and I just forgot to tell him. And when I came back, he was angry with me, and and that controlling behaviour is just like Hitler. Sure it is, yeah. And it's like the Nazi regime. And he denied having swastikas in his arms. And then it goes off into just pure insane fantasy world of the guy had lots of swastikas and so on. So that they blend the two in here at no stage, and it's all straight white males that are only straight white males, and middle class straight white males are being considered here. All the other categories, even though they would constitute 90% plus of the supposed violence, they only focus on straight white males. Now there are suggested standards that are starting to appear that say, well, if you're going to have images of violence against men, why is it always that a tiny, minuscule, diminutive little woman with a massive hulking guy, and he's white, and she's quite well turned out, clearly a middle-class woman of means. She ain't getting, isn't wearing Kmart or Walmart clothes. She's wearing good clothes. She's clean, well turned out, looks very respectable. And yet she's the one who that's the category that they're focusing on. Well, it's not the category. That's not the issue. So they're inventing a category, inventing demons, and inventing monsters under the bed here. But the lack of pushback, the lack of qualification. For example, they say we interviewed these women. Now, as you read on down, in the end, they say none of this is actually, if you read between the lines, none of it's been verified. So women just come and say, yeah, he was a bastard and he beat me up and he did this, did that. He's a motherfucker, and that's it. That's fact. It's now fact. Ironclad fact. Concrete fact. Did you check any of it? Nah. Did you verify any of it? Nah. Women never lie about these sorts of things, so we accept it as fact. And we're treating it as fact, and we're recording it as fact, but it's not fact. None of it's been verified or checked or so on. Now, I know some people who are in the or have worked, and one of them still works in like women's refuges, and she's like an area supervisor for women's refuges. And at her own admission, she admits that there's violence going on. The women that come into the white women that come into these these hostels, call it what you will, they've mostly got bipolar disorder and various other psychological disorders. So they're 50% plus of the problem that they're having at home. These are not women who are not easy to get on with. These are women who'll find out what is it he likes and take it out the back and set fire to it. They're women who are being very, very provocative, looking for a fight. And then screaming victim when they get it. So, and then they're able to come to these refuges. Oh, they're there now. Was he naughty to you? That evil Nazi motherfucker. Well, you can come and stay here with the children. We'll give you free everything. Free everything. And do you want us to send the police over, the straight white male police over to bash him up for you? We'll do that if you, and so on. So these very mentally disturbed women, now you can say, well, the guy shouldn't have got together with a mentally disturbed woman, and that is an argument, but that doesn't mean that he's a violent oppressor. It just means that she's psychologically disturbed, and if they wanted to provide services to help the government and so on, instead of pouring radical feminists, angry, hate-filled radical feminists into there, they should be putting people in there who wanted to help these women with bipolar disorder and various other psychological disorders, and getting some help to them so they can form functioning and maintain functioning relationships. But that's not what's going. So the people going into that, and most of the people that turn up, the minority of the people that turn up have straight white male partners. So it's the minority there. Yet you would think that is the only problem that the Western world has, when it's not. It's quite the opposite. Same as with bringing in masses of brown and black third world peasants into the West. It's only the white people who are racist, Nazi, fascist bigots. These brown people hate-filled as they might be. No, it's not their fault. It's only the white people. And as long as the folks that we must control the men, when it comes to gender relations, only men must be controlled. We can control them, all the problems go away. That's not the issue here. Never was, and never will be. But that's what now when you've got propaganda like this, which is all over the place, by the way, an unceasing torrent of propaganda. As long as you've got this, then that is creating a level of dysfunction in society that doesn't need to be there, that shouldn't be there, that has no justification for being there. So any woman that is mentally unbalanced or just wants to make a power play against the man, she can do that and so, well, that's justified because I've seen all these things on television about these evil Nazi fascist oppressor men with their swastikas. I've seen all that, and they're all that way, every single man. So I can stick it up him. I can give him a hat. So all I got to do is call the police and they'll slap him around and put him in prison. Doesn't matter what I've done. They're never going to hold me accountable, and that sort of thing. So this creates a level of dysfunction and a level of drama and discord in society that doesn't need to be there, that shouldn't be there. And government resources and these people that are paid, they're on the government payroll, are being directed towards creating the very dysfunction that they claim to be trying to correct. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.